I am a single mother with 2 children. The kids have 4 nights per month with their dad. When our parenting plan was developed, we agreed to allow him to claim the oldest child as long as support payments were current. At the time, he had 10 overnights. 2 years ago, I informed him that because he was $6,000 behind in support, I planned to exercise our agreement and claim both children. He responded with some selective words and told me that since I make more than him, 66% of our collective income, I didn't need the money. When I filed my taxes, they were rejected, stating that my son was already claimed. I ended up submitting my taxes manually, providing copies of our parenting plan, custody agreement, proof of support arrears, and our email exchange stating my intent. While it took 9 months, I finally received my return, along with the money from his return that was garnished due to his owing. 2 weeks ago, he informed me that the IRS had communicated that he didn't have the right to claim our child from 2 years ago, and he now owes $6,000. He asked if I was aware and if I had claimed our oldest. I explained the circumstances and that yes, I had challenged his filing. He is now not speaking to me. Am I the idiot for informing the IRS and not just letting him claim despite our agreement? Now for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. Not the idiot. I have this discussion with clients all the time. If you have the valid claim, and it sounds like you do, certainly the IRS seems to agree so, then you file for it. That's all you have to do. You don't actually have to report anything. You just file your valid claim. There will be delays as they look into the validity of each claim, but they will make that determination. If that means someone is found to owe, well, that was their decision or error. Who counts as a dependent for whom and for which purposes can get complicated. BTW, to his point that you make more and so don't need the money, not only are you the parent with more nights of physical custody, but one of the tiebreaker rules actually breaks in favour of the higher earning parent. The IRS doesn't much care about agreements, BTW, often including things set forth in divorce decrees. With the exception, of course, of Form 8332 to release the claim of dependency specifically, which does not entitle the other parent to certain other credits and benefits, and which the custodial parent is not generally obligated to provide. If there's a dispute, competing claims on returns, they will investigate and make a determination based on the rules set forth for them in the law. Comment 2. I did this exactly, but only with my nephew I took emergency custody of. The whole time I had him, 10 months, his parents saw it as a vacation. My nephew had so many medical issues stemming from their neglect that I was overwhelmed and up with him night and day, and here were his 2 parents posting vacation photos like they weren't facing criminal charges for what they did to him. Anyway, I decided to file for him for that year and told the mother. She was upset and said they had plans already made with it. Tough. I went to file and just like you, he was already claimed. I filed manually and included the paperwork showing I had him, and 6 months later I got it back. She owes money now and cannot file for EIC in our state for 5 years. Not the idiot, of course. Comment 3. Not the idiot. You did what you both agreed to. You even informed him you were going to do this. This is his fault. He has to deal with the consequences. Has he always been bad with money? Or is this a more recent development? If it's the latter, it might be good to look at the source of the problems. You need to make sure the children are safe if they are staying with him. Now, for the update. So a fortnight has passed since I last posted. Some stuff has happened. Buckle up because this ride has more loops than a roller coaster. First, I got a call from my ex. I was surprised because ever since the IRS issue, he's been giving me the silent treatment. He sounded nervous but determined and asked if we could meet up to discuss things. He suggested a public place, our old favourite coffee shop. I agreed, though I was wary. I walked in expecting fireworks, but instead he was calm. He admitted he was wrong for falling behind on his child support payments, and he acknowledged that he was at fault for the IRS situation. He even went so far as to apologise, which, if you know him, is about as likely as a snowstorm in July. Before I could respond, he dropped another bombshell. He had a job offer, a big one in another state, high pay, benefits, the works. But it would mean he'd have to move, and he wanted to bring our oldest with him. I was shocked, but before I could react, he assured me he wasn't planning on taking him without my permission or against his will. He wanted our son to make the decision. The next day, we sat our son down and explained the situation. Our boy, bless him, asked for a few days to think it over. While anxiously waiting for his decision, I received a letter from the IRS. My heart sank at the sight of it, but when I opened it I was floored. The letter was an apology. There had been a mix-up, and the $6,000 they claimed my ex owed was an error. They had reviewed our case again after I reported him and realised their mistake, but that's not all. The letter also stated that due to their mistake, they would be issuing a refund of the amount my ex had already paid towards the incorrect debt. When I told my ex, he was silent for a moment, and then he laughed. It was a genuine laugh, the first I'd heard in a long time. He thanked me for sticking to our agreement and reporting him, because in the end it had saved him from an unjust debt. As for our son, he decided to give living with his father a shot. It'll be hard to let him go, but I'm excited for him and this new opportunity. So that's the latest. From where I'm sitting, it looks like we're all getting a fresh start. I never expected things to turn out like this, but sometimes life throws you a curveball. Now for the comments. 1. Not the idiot. You've handled the situation maturely and respectfully, considering every party involved. It's commendable that you were able to put your child's interest first, despite the past issues with your ex. Also, your honesty with the IRS, even when it could have easily turned in your favour, speaks volumes about your integrity. 2. Not the idiot. You've done a fantastic job handling an incredibly complex situation. You've established and maintained open lines of communication with your ex and your son, and you've made it clear that your son's wishes are paramount. You've also shown kindness and understanding to your ex, which will undoubtedly contribute to a healthier co-parenting relationship in the future. 3. Not the idiot. Your actions demonstrate a great deal of patience and understanding. You took an ethical approach to the IRS situation, which not everyone would have done. Also, you treated your ex fairly despite their previous shortcomings and gave your son the space he needed to make his decision. This gives him a sense of agency and respect for his feelings, which is important for his emotional development. Now for the next story. I, 26-year-old male, have fake gems made of glass on my desk for decoration. They all look real, and my girlfriend saw them and asked me if she could have one. Not really thinking about it, I said yes, and we went on with our night. When she left, she took one of the gems with her, and a few hours later called me to yell at me for not telling her the gems were fake. I asked her why it mattered, and she said she tried to sell it and the buyer told her it was fake. I told her I didn't think she would sell it, so I didn't think to tell her it was fake, but she called me a jerk anyway. So am I the jerk? Now for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. When an equal sign, and equal sign called equal sign, few equal sign, gems equal sign. Her equal sign, ours equal sign. Later equal sign, left equal sign. Me equal sign, of equal sign. One equal sign, she equal sign, the equal sign, took equal sign with equal sign. You gave one of your gems to her because her asking for one gives the assumption she liked them so much and you wanted to share them with your GF. But she only saw potential cash. You never told them they were real, she just assumed. You gave her the gem because she asked for it. It was never intended to be a gift for your GF. My advice to you is think this relationship over. You think your GF is a gem, but she's just glass. Not the idiot. Comment 2. Not the idiot. Who does she think you are, Big Daddy Warbucks? Who the frick has real gems as decoration on their desk? Do you have golden toilets as well? She's an idiot and a hustler taking your gift and trying to sell it. Yeah, she sounds like a great person. Comment 3. Not the idiot. You didn't offer it, she asked for it. Nothing was ever said about what it was made of. Who would have real gems just laying around on their desk? Also, it was a huge red flag that she wanted something from you just to sell. Now, for the update. It's been a tough month. Things went south really quickly after the gem incident. I thought we'd just brush it off as a misunderstanding, maybe laugh about it later. But I couldn't have been more wrong. A few days after the argument, my girlfriend decided to pack up her stuff and leave. Said she needed some space to think about our relationship. I didn't stop her. I thought maybe some distance could help us see things more clearly. I spent that night in a daze, surrounded by her empty drawers and the deafening silence. 2 weeks passed, and I hadn't heard from her. I was beginning to get really worried. I decided to pay her a visit at her work, only to find out she'd quit her job. I tried to call her again, but her phone was disconnected. I felt a bone-deep dread creeping in. I finally got a hold of one of her friends, who reluctantly told me that she had moved to another city. She was starting fresh and didn't want any reminders of her old life, of me. She said my girlfriend felt betrayed. That the gem incident wasn't just about the gem, but about trust or the lack thereof. She thought I should have told her the truth about the gem. But more than that, she thought I should have trusted her not to sell it. I've spent the last few days in a blur. I'm not sure where to go from here. I feel like I've lost a part of me. I thought we had something special, something worth fighting for, but maybe I was wrong. Maybe I was the jerk all along. Maybe I did deserve this. I've learned the hard way that every action has a consequence, every lie a price. My desk looks emptier without the glass gems, just as my life feels empty without her. I guess I'll never look at these trinkets the same way again. I'm left with a lot of regrets, a lot of unanswered questions, but the biggest one of all is, what if? What if I had told her the truth about the gem? Would things have been different? I guess I'll never know. And that hurts more than anything else. Now for the comments. 1. Not the idiot. It's clear that you made a mistake with the gem incident, but everyone makes mistakes. It's important to learn from them and grow. However, your ex-girlfriend's reaction seems a bit extreme. She could have communicated her feelings of betrayal and worked things through with you, rather than moving away and cutting all ties without giving you a chance to explain or apologize. 2. You're the idiot. The gem incident was a big deal for your girlfriend. It was about trust. You should have been upfront from the beginning. Her reaction might be harsh, but it illustrates the depth of her feelings of betrayal. It's a harsh lesson, but hopefully it will inspire you to be more honest in your future relationships. 3. Everyone sucks here. Clearly you made a mistake by not being truthful about the gem. However, your girlfriend also didn't handle the situation in the best way. Communication is key in any relationship, and it sounds like you both failed in that regard. She should have confronted you about her feelings instead of just leaving without explanation. Now, for the next story. I'm getting married soon, and I've decided that I don't want children at my wedding except for my 7-year-old twins. They mean a lot to me, and I want them to be part of my big day. They'll be with the babysitter the entire time at the reception, so they won't be a bother to anyone. My siblings have young kids, and they were really upset about my decision. They said it's unfair for me to allow my kids, but not theirs. They accused me of being selfish and said I should either invite all the family's children or none at all. They even threatened not to attend my wedding if I don't change my mind. I think they're being dramatic, and I believe I have the right to choose who I want at my wedding. I love my nieces and nephews, but I don't want them to disrupt the atmosphere of the celebration. I also don't want to exclude my own kids because they are my children, and I want them to witness me marrying their father. Am I the idiot for allowing only my twins at my wedding but no other children? Now for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. Not the idiot. There is a difference between children and your children. But will your twins find it a bit lonely not having their cousins to play with at the wedding? Being a child at an adult-only situation can be a bit boring. Even if it is a wedding, I can see your siblings' point of view, but be prepared not to have them at your wedding. Comment 2. Not the idiot OMG at first. I thought you meant you only wanted your twins there and not your other children. In which case you would have sucked. But no, it's totally normal to have the bridegroom's children at a wedding and no other children. Your siblings need to be over themselves. Comment 3. Not the idiot. You just cannot exclude your kids from their mum's and dad's wedding. They should be there. Just 2 kids with babysitter most probably won't affect the whole thing, but bunch of young kids definitely will. So for me it's a very understandable decision. Now, for the update. So, here we are. 2 weeks later after the wedding drama with my siblings over having only my twins at the wedding. You're not going to believe what has unfolded since then. After standing my ground about my decision, my siblings escalated things and decided to boycott the wedding. They also managed to convince most of our extended family to join in the boycott. On top of that, they started a social media campaign to paint me as a selfish, child-hating monster. It's wild how things got out of hand. In a surprising twist, my parents, who initially sided with my siblings, decided that their shenanigans had gone too far. They confronted my siblings and demanded that either they act like mature adults and respect my decision, or they would disown them. It was a complete 180 from their initial stance, but here's the icing on the cake. My ex, the twins' mother, caught wind of all this drama through social media. We hadn't spoken in years outside of strictly parenting matters, but she reached out to me. She not only supported my decision, but also offered to talk to my siblings on my behalf. I declined her offer, but I was still taken aback by her support. The day of the wedding came, and it was beautiful. With the absence of my siblings and the extended family, it was small and intimate. Only those who genuinely cared about us were there. It was everything we wanted our day to be. The twins were overjoyed, and it was a moment I'll cherish forever. The aftermath. My siblings have since apologized, realizing how ridiculous they were acting. They said the social media backlash opened their eyes to their immature behavior. I accepted their apologies, but I made it clear that they've lost my trust. So yeah, it's been a wild 2 weeks. From family boycotts to social media campaigns, it felt like we were in a soap opera. But in the end, we had our perfect wedding day. My twins witnessed their dad getting married, and it was everything we wanted. Now for the comments. 1. Not the idiot. It's your wedding, and you have every right to decide who you want to be there. The fact that your siblings not only boycotted, but persuaded others to do the same, is manipulative and disrespectful. They owe you more than just an apology. Trust is hard to rebuild, and they'll need to demonstrate some serious change in behavior for that to happen. 2. Not the idiot. It's commendable that your ex stood up for you and offered to mediate with your siblings. It shows great maturity on her part. Your siblings, on the other hand, need to understand that their actions have consequences. They turned a joyous occasion into a drama. An apology is a start, but they need to respect your boundaries moving forward. 3. Not the idiot. The most important thing is that your twins were happy and you enjoyed your wedding day. It's a shame your siblings couldn't put their differences aside for one day to celebrate your happiness. Remember, family isn't just about blood, it's about who's there to support you. It's good to hear your parents were on your side and that you had a lovely wedding despite the drama. Now for the next story. I bought myself a nice blender, I work part-time at home, and also watch the young kids that are too young for preschool. Due to me staying home, I cook a lot, which I enjoy, so it's not a big deal. Now the issue is that he was pissed about how much the blender was, $125. This annoyed me greatly since I used my fun money for it, and it is a household tool even if he won't use it. I thought we were over it, but I pulled it out again to make a smoothie, and he made more comments about a waste of money and stupid buy. I had the conversation with him about the whole situation again. He made more comments next time I took it out, and I had enough. Now every time I make something using a blender, I don't give him any. It came to a head today when I made a soup and used the blender. I told him I used the stupid blender to make it, so he can't have any and make his own food. This caused a huge argument and he thinks I'm a petty jerk, but I've told him so many times to not call my purchases a waste. Am I the idiot for taking it so far? This post made me start really thinking about my marriage. I'm asking for couples counselling, and if things don't change, I will be done. Now for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. Why is he being so mean about this particular purchase? Is it unusual? Is he normally kind and AMP supportive, or does he often criticise your choices when they don't line up with his? If it's a one-off, then each time he mentions it I'd respond with, "Why do you have a problem with how I spent my fun money?" Literally just that. I would just keep replying with that question until he answers it or goes away and AMP stops talking. It's worth getting to the bottom of, though. What is his problem with how you use your fun money? Is there something else you had to get paid from shared funds that should have come from your fun money but you'd run out? Is the kitchen already really full of gadgets that don't get much use, so it now feels extra cluttered? Comment 2. Not the idiot, since when are your fun money purchases up for criticism? Being petty isn't the way, I think, but he does need to stop. You can make soups and smoothies in a cheap blender that would be exactly the same to him, so you aren't proving anything. This is why you have your own money. Keep reminding him it didn't come out of the joint fund. Ignore his comments about the blender. It was expensive, but you love it, so who cares if he calls it a waste? If the subject dies, don't bring it up again, because I can understand the ESH judgments here, but still think you had the right to be petty for a short time. Comment 3. Not the idiot. OP has kindly and respectfully communicated that husband's comments are hurtful and should not be made anymore. OP has done this multiple times. Further, OP was very clear that this item was purchased from OP's fun money. As a couple, they have clearly already established that what one of them purchases with their allotted discretionary fund is up to them. How many times does OP have to explain to this man that he's being hurtful? Why should he benefit from a tool he continues to use a means to belittle his partner? Now for the update. So guys, you won't believe the turn of events since I last posted. As you know, I've been withholding blended food from my partner due to their relentless negativity about the blender. Well, the other night they tried to make a protein shake, and guess what? The cheap, shaky blender they insisted on using instead of my high-end one. It exploded. There was protein powder everywhere, all over them, all over the kitchen. They looked like a shaken-up snow globe. As I stood there, trying not to laugh, they looked at me with this defeated expression and muttered, "Okay, your blender isn't that bad." I thought that was the end of it, but the blender saga took another turn. The following week, my partner, who'd been suspiciously quiet about the blender debacle, came home with a giant box. Inside, another blender, a high-end one, just like mine, but in a different colour. They set it on the kitchen counter next to mine, saying they'd decided to join the blender revolution. But here's the kicker. Yesterday they made a big show of using their new blender, making all kinds of smoothies, soups, even trying to grind coffee beans. But by the end of the day, the motor burned out. So there we were again, in the middle of another blender mess. And guess whose blender was still going strong? This time they didn't even try to argue, just gave me this look and said, "I get it now. They're using my blender now." No more complaints, no more snide remarks. In fact, they've been very complimentary about the smoothies I've been making, and have even started cleaning it after they use it. I guess all it took was a couple of blender catastrophes to get them to see the light. So we're going to hold off on the couples counselling for now. Turns out all we needed was a blender war for them to see the error of their ways. Talk about an unexpected solution. Now, for the comments. 1. Not the idiot. It's understandable that you held back on letting your partner use your blender when they clearly didn't appreciate its value. Their negative attitude towards the blender was a reflection of their lack of respect for your belongings. It's not about the blender, it's about respect and appreciation. They needed to learn that the hard way. 2. Everyone sucks here. While your partner was definitely stubborn and disrespectful about the blender situation, you withholding the blended food seems petty. It's important to communicate and discuss the issue rather than resorting to such actions. However, it's great that things got resolved in the end. 3. No idiots here. Sounds like a classic case of stubbornness and miscommunication. Your partner didn't understand the value of your blender, and you took a stand to protect what was yours. In the end, it was a process of learning and understanding for both of you, and it's great that it ended up resolving your issues. If you liked this video, you'll probably like these too. Also, while you're here, please consider subscribing. It's your support that keeps this channel alive and allows me to make better and longer videos. Have a great day.